Welcome to the Genesis of the Doctor podcast, where we're taking a journey through the time and space of the history of Doctor Who. I'm Triss,
And I'm Joy.
and for today's episode, we're watching the 5th and 6th serials of Season 16 with the power of Kroll and the Armageddon factor. And these are, since it's the end of the season, it's also the end of the Keys to Time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, alright, so we got the end of this whole arc between these two.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, there's actually a lot of similarities between these two stories. But let's start with the power of Kroll, which was quite the location shooting.
Yeah. They're in a swamp for most of it.
Every outside shot felt like it was borderline disgusting to film.
Yeah. I know Mary Tamm has said this was her least favorite one to film because it just wasn't fun.
Why.
Wasn't fun to be in a swamp the whole time.
Mm-hmm. No, I can imagine it really wasn't.
I think this is easily my least favorite of the season. There's
Yeah, I am thinking similarly. I have a lot of like little problems with this season, or not season. Well, this episode of this season, which is kind of sad because it's been an overall pretty good season, and then this story, I don't know. It makes me think of the name is now escaping me, but the Third Doctor story with Joe and the Mutts, as they're unfortunately called.
yeah.
It's a lot like that.
This one's just weird to me because, like, obviously, it's a very obvious parallel to like indigenous people's struggles.
Yes.
But like the way they write the Swampies is just like you would think they would want to write them as like more heroic characters and more sympathetic characters because like the episode wants you to side with them, but then
Yeah.
like they just write them as like one dimensional, like oh they just want to sacrifice the Doctor to their god the whole time, and they don't ever do anything other than that.
They certainly write them as if the perspective of them was that of savages, which is awful.
Yeah,
Which is why I made that comparison. It's kind of leaves a bad taste the entire time.
yeah,
Um, Again, another instance of like they're called swampies derogatorily the entire time, and they're like never actually given a proper name.
yeah.
And even the Doctor uses this against them, and it's like, I don't know, Doc. I wouldn't be using that phrase with them. What do they want to be called? You know? But
And we never find out.
no. It's kind of a running thing with some of the classics.
Yeah, it's just it's such a weird thing because like obviously we're supposed to side with them, but then they're just written so one dimensionally, and like
They don't really do enough to make us side with them, no.
yeah, it's just the Doctor's just like oh well obviously like I don't side with the racists here.
Yeah. It's like all they really want us to side with is specifically the ones that are unfortunately what the Europeans would view as some of the good ones, which is also
Yeah.
just not a good look, of the ones that are willing to reject the culture as they know it and are willing to open to new ideas, which again is not necessarily inherently a good thing.
Yeah,
But it's certainly written like it is because but sticking to the old ways makes us primitive, and it's like, well, I don't know. That being all that being said, I liked Kroll specifically.
yeah,
I feel like they had a lot of fun any scene when Kroll was actually attacking.
yeah. Just a lot of people get taken away by tentacles.
Yeah, a lot do. Yeah.
Apparently, Robert Holmes was told that they wanted him to write the biggest monster the show had ever had, and that was his prompt for the story.
He's a good monster, to be honest. Like, I think they had a lot of fun building up to what Kroll is and how Kroll operates, and as it went on, making Kroll feel even more threatening.
Yeah. And then they slowly build up the idea that Kroll is the way it is because it ate the key to time. generations ago.
Yep.
It's a
Which
fun idea.
I thought was cool. I thought it was cool, making him like making it part of him basically, and I liked the build up to the reveal of that too, because I thought it was quite good.
Yeah. And then this did have John Leeson physically appear as Doug Young,
Yes,
the guy who
gets
was on
killed.
the scanner. Yeah, he gets shot. I wouldn't have known it was him unless I knew ahead of time. Cause
No, I
he
wouldn't
doesn't
have known
sound
either.
like Canine.
He doesn't. How did we feel about the people working the refinery? I think Dougine was good because you see he's someone who maybe was not originally on the side of what was deemed the radicals, but he certainly got radicalized through their situation.
Yeah. I think some of them were interesting characters. I feel like the main villain was just like a very one-dimensional villain.
Thawne,
But I think like the
yeah.
other guys were more interesting.
What I found interesting about Thawne is he really was just descending into his madness and racism.
Yeah.
Again, very similar to the Marshal from a few seasons back with the Third Doctor and Joe, and the racism tied to all that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similarities to that, which I don't think are necessarily good.
Yeah. And then we find out that Rome Dutt was actually paid by Thawne to give weapons to the indigenous people.
Which makes it kind of confusing considering Thawne wanted to kill Romdot as well. So
Yeah.
I guess, to hide the evidence of doing so, but
Yeah, I guess.
a little confusing, I think.
It's also just weird how like they established that like the Swampies are only this one city of them. Like that's all that's left, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if we wipe out this one civilization, then they're all dead.
That's just genocide.
Like you'd think there'd be at least like more elsewhere, but no, they kind of imply this is all that's left.
They were all put here, and then they were followed here later on because there's resources here. It's so messy. It's so messy,
Yeah.
and not just because they're in a swamp.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I really think like they had some neat ideas here, but I feel like most of it got fumbled. And we
Yeah.
once again see Romana pretty much only in the damsel in distress role again throughout the
she's
entire story.
captured so many times.
In this one story alone, it feels like.
Yeah. Sometimes she's captured with the Doctor in this one, but she's also
Yeah.
captured on her own as well.
But it's not like she does anything to help break them out of it most of the time. It's always the Doctor.
Yeah. And then when she's captured the first time, she drops the scanner, and then I guess the Doctor just picks it up, and not that we see him pick it up, though.
No, we don't see him pick it up.
At some point, he just has it. Yeah, I think Robert Holmes is a writer I genuinely like a lot, because he's written like a lot of the best ones. Like he wrote The Sunmakers as well, but
Yeah.
he also wrote this one, and he also wrote the other racist one. So sometimes he has stinkers. He's generally pretty good, though.
I think generally, yeah, because there's definitely been some good ones from him, some bad ones, but some good ones. I just hope a lot of these bad ones don't stem from like actual racism on his part.
Yeah. I feel like this one.
I would
like,
imagine not, because they're not villainized. Well,
in this one, I'd
did
say like
he-
maybe the heart's in the right place, but he just doesn't do enough.
maybe. Didn't he write The Talons of Wang Chiang though?
Yeah, he wrote that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that one's like
mm,
it was heavily inspired by like a movie that came out a few years beforehand, so he just kind of didn't think about the implications.
yeah,
maybe.
I think it's just a case of in the 70s they were not exactly thinking about the racist implications of certain things.
Yeah. After this one, he doesn't come back until the final story of the Fifth Doctor. And
Okay. That's
I know
interesting.
that's generally considered to be the best Fifth Doctor story, so.
Oh, wow. All right.
But yeah, he didn't like how many restrictions were put on him for this story, so he wasn't too happy because he didn't really want to write a giant monster, and then he also didn't like that he had to work the key to time into it.
That's fair.
Although he
One
did
or
also
the
write...
other, yeah.
He wrote the first one of the season as well, so he had already written a key to time story.
Gotcha. So having to do 2 key to time stories. I mean, at least this one feels different from the previous one that he did. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I definitely think there were some issues with this one. I think the way it handled a lot of its characters were kind of dumb too. Like, I was not a fan of how many characters were killed off just for the sake of killing them off. Like Romtut and Thawne and Ranquin. Like, it there was no satisfying end for any of the characters that were killed off.
Yeah. And then they only leave one of the humans alive at the end and kind of imply maybe he might get killed soon.
Yeah, they really, like, just leave him to whatever will happen. Which, shout out to the fact that his performance seemed so familiar to me. Fenner, he has such a specific line delivery when he's, like, almost, like, mumbling to himself, kind of.
Yeah.
Or like very like matter of fact, like talking very quickly and like quietly. And I realized he was also Sullen in Brain of Morbius.
Yeah. He's been in like I think like 3 or 4 stories at this point.
Like, he's been in quite a bit at this point.
He was also in the movie as well.
Oh, really?
The Dalek Invasion of Earth movie. He was one of the characters in that.
That's fine.
I forget which one.
But that's funny. He just has like a very specific kind of performance that like I was like the entire time I was seeing Fenner, I was like, he's so familiar, and it's because he's in Brain of Morbius. That's specifically what you recognize him as.
I think people were saying that maybe he originally went up for Thawne in this one, and then I think he was given the other role instead.
I could see it. Apparently, he was also the warlord in the War Games, but that's a pretty different performance, I feel like. Yeah. He also doesn't look similar at all.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know.
There is also the funny story from behind the scenes about this one, where to make their skin green, they had to get, like, a very specific, like, a specific product, and that specific product is supposed to be bought with a specific solvent to get rid of it. So they forgot to get the solvent to get rid of it, and then it took a lot of work to get the green off of their skin, and they were left with green tainted skin for weeks.
Crazy.
So, yeah.
That's I'm sure people were not happy about that.
Yeah. They had to like scrub their skin to get it off because they didn't have the right thing. And then even then, it didn't entirely work. This is also apparently the last time where you have a story where the only female character is the companion until Cold War with the 11th Doctor and Claire Oswald.
Oh.
Because it had happened a few times before. And then, yeah, Romana's the only woman in this story.
Huh. I didn't even realize that. Well, I don't think I have much else to say about this one other than I really wish the Swampies were handled a lot better. Because I really do think the strongest point of this entire story was anytime Kroll was actively doing something. Because I did like how they handled the effects for Kroll and the tentacles. Like, they clearly had fun with it.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the highlights.
I only had a couple other notes where it was very funny when the Doctor screams at like an inhuman pitch to break a window.
Okay, that was really funny. You're right.
But I guess he just has like weird abilities sometimes. That definitely didn't sound human coming out of him.
No, it didn't. It was a funny situation that they were in for that in general too.
And then also when Thawne gets killed, you can actually see blood on his hands, which is very...
Yeah, they actually used blood effects, which is shocking.
They don't normally do that at this point. They would get in trouble for that.
Yeah, there's very few times they have actually done that.
I think one of the other times was actually Brain of Morbius, so it's like that.
Yeah.
When the same guy is in it.
Yep. So it's pretty surprising, but it adds to the shock value, I guess.
Yeah. I do also kind of find it so funny when Robert Holmes has to have like an evil company. He just calls it the company. We don't give them a name. They're just the company. That's it.
all it needs to be, I guess.
Because he did
Down
that
with
in the
capitalism
Sunmakers
and all
too.
that. Yeah, that's true. Well,
Yeah. I think that's it for Power of Kroll on my end.
yeah, that's it for me as well. It had good potential, but I do think it's probably the weakest story of the season.
Yeah.
Next, though, we have the end of the season with the Armageddon factor. And this story was a bit all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's six-parter, so it's a bit longer already, but it really does kind of feel like a four-parter and a two-parter.
Yeah. It definitely feels like they wanted to just tell like their own story without the key to time, and then they're like, oh well, it's the end of the season, so we just need to throw the key to time in the 2 episodes. They have the whole war going on for the first 4 episodes, and then for the last 2 episodes, it's everything with the shadow.
yeah, and don't I don't like the execution of the shadow. I think the idea of the 2 planets at war with each other, and it turns out the second planet is actually like all automated, so it's not even really at war with them, not with the people. And then of course they don't even go into what happened to the people.
Yeah.
Just that it's all being automated. They have like some small estimates, but that's about it. It feels like they forget about characters quite a lot in this story, which is shocking for a story that decides in its final episodes we're going to introduce a whole nother Time Lord for some reason.
Yeah.
So, constantly adding characters in a story where it feels like it's constantly forgetting about its cast made it feel very messy to me.
Yeah. I'd say I liked this more than Power of Kroll, but it's definitely like the
Yes.
second worst of the season.
Yeah, I liked the story. I had fun with it, but there were a lot of little things that bothered me. Like,
Yeah.
they could not decide what to do with Shap and Merak.
Yeah.
They could not decide what to do with them. Do we want them to be temporary companions for the story? Do we want them to interfere with things? Or do we want them to just be messengers for the Doctor? Let's forget about them for an entire episode and a half, and then have one scene to bring them back, just in case you forgot, dear viewer, that they're playing an important role here. An important role that is getting a message across, or attempting to get a message across, that never gets through. And Merak constantly getting himself into trouble for no reason, and makes you think he's going to die multiple times. Then he has his reunion scene in the end. It's very strange.
Yeah. And also I'm pretty sure they left him on the Shadow's planet, didn't they? I don't think he ever got off of the planet, but then he's fine at the end, even though they blew up the planet.
Drax implied that they found Merak unconscious, nearly dead, so they dragged him to the teleporter, the transmat. But like, why not have a scene for that then? You know?
Yeah.
Like, if that seems like it's a pretty big thing. No? Okay.
I did love Drax though. He was great. It's
Drax
so funny.
was fun, but should have been there since the first episode.
Yeah. I found it so funny how we just have a Time Lord just like crawl out of a tunnel randomly. And now he's just in the episode. And then he calls the Doctor Theta Sigma. He was like, oh, that's your name. Later stuff has implied that's his nickname from the Academy days. It's not his real name.
That's pretty funny, to be honest. I at first I really thought it was just like someone insane, or like some fake memory projecting for the Doctor to trick him.
Yeah. Then I love how he's like, the Doctor's like, you know, what's with your accent? And then he's like, oh, I was stuck in London for 10 years, so I picked up an accent.
I do like that. I do like that. I do think that is quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
That feels accurate. I really think it would have been much better if they found Drax, because like there's the idea of the Shadow knows about Time Lords already. The Shadow is the one that's kind of controlling the Marshal, and the Marshal's technically usurping the the royal family in the
Yeah.
war and all that. I think it actually would have made more sense in all of that if there was already a Time Lord there involved with everything, and have that be Drax.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have been a much better way to introduce him. I mean, to be completely honest, get rid of Merak. Get rid of Merak and fuse his character with Drax.
Yeah.
Less characters to juggle, or make Drax be Shap. Either one. One of the other two characters that was severely underutilized, have Drax fill that role. I think, and you could still make him a Time Lord, still a different renegade Time Lord, but it's the fact that they're Time Lords that he decides to then align with the Doctor and Romana. But I don't know, because like his introduction so late in the story just felt kind of half-assed.
Yeah, kind of
Like,
was.
and it's a shame because I liked his character and I wanted more of it, but it really just felt forced in to make something work out for the Doctor.
Yeah, there was definitely like a lot of opportunities they could have had to have Drax in there a lot earlier. Especially because he's sort of working for the Shadow, but he doesn't really want to be at the start. And like you could have
Yeah,
established that like maybe he was the one that made like the control chips or something.
yeah. Like it's just too underutilized. Like you could have done more with him.
Yeah. I also love when he's talking with K9 and then K9's like your silliness is noted.
Yes. Okay, K9 had some great moments to this story, I will say.
I love
K9 had a lot of dialogue, a whole little arc. K9 had a
yeah.
lot going on in the story.
I loved evil K9.
Evil K9 was so funny.
I love how he's just threatening to kill the Doctor at a moment's notice. It's great.
There's also like so many little bits of his performance here that felt more than just little robot dog, like him coughing, which definitely didn't need to be happening at any point.
Yeah.
But like him coughing and the inflection he would use when talking to the computer on Xeon or Zeus, I mean, and when like sassing the Doctor and Romana when talking to that computer, or when falling under the Shadow's control, like there was a lot of variation in line delivery from K9 that made him feel more alive in a way that's a lot more fun for K9's development.
Yeah. And actually, I'm just realizing that the story was written by his creators, so maybe that's why they did so much with him.
Oh, that checks out actually.
It's
Yeah.
Bob Baker and Dave Martin's story, and this is their last story that they write together.
Okay.
Although Bob Baker comes back next season to do one on his own.
Mhm.
Yeah, they wrote The Invisible Enemy among a bunch of other stories.
Yeah, that would explain the focus K9 got in many different ways. You know, needing to be rescued, having his little hero moment. Like there was a lot that K9 got to do. So it being done by his creators makes sense.
Yeah.
How did we feel about the princess? The one who later becomes Romana, but don't worry, we'll go into that at some later point.
He kind of
How
felt
did we feel
undercooked
about
in this
Astra?
story, I would say. Like, she doesn't really do all that much.
Yeah, she doesn't do much other than get controlled. She
Yeah.
tricks Merak way too much. What a simp. Like annoyingly so.
Yeah.
I think it's really unfortunate because she has some very strong ideals at the start in like her first few scenes in the first episode, and like all of that's gone
Yeah.
like pretty quickly. And then making her be the key, the last piece of the key to time, I think is fascinating with an asterisk. Not right after they just did that with Kroll.
Yeah.
I understand like each segment is kind of like building up a little bit over the last one,
Yeah.
but I feel like making her the segment and then not really explaining how she gets to be okay in the end and go back to living with Merak. It
Well, they kind of say that the Doctor just scatters the keys back to their original locations at the end. Because he just destroys the key to time at the end, so they just go
yeah,
back, I guess.
but like I don't think that should send her back to be Astra again.
Yeah,
Because
I
he says
guess.
I don't think he said he scattered them back to where they originally were. I think he just says he just scattered them in general, and that works off the idea of keeping the key to time out of the Black Guardian's hands. But there's no reason to assume she would go back to being Astra then.
Yeah, I guess. Because, I mean, if they go back to all the same spots, then, like, the Guardians know where they are.
Yeah, exactly. Like that wouldn't solve anything in that case.
Yeah. I guess
So
they just wanted to have a
she's
nice ending.
yeah. I think Astra's undercooked, and I think the conclusion to the keys to time in general, after all the build-up, all these episodes, is also a bit disappointing. Like, yes, we assumed it was going to be something too powerful to let stay, so the Doctor was probably going to get rid of it. But the fact that the White Guardian never comes back is a little shocking. There's no
Yeah.
there's no moment of like confrontation between the White and Black Guardians. I thought we were going to learn that the White Guardian is like a lesser of two evils, like also not good. So the Doctor's like, "No. Neither of you get to have it."
Yeah.
Because that feels like something the Doctor would do.
Apparently, the original plan was that they would have had the White Guardian here, but then the actor who played the White Guardian wasn't able to come film, so they swapped it to the Black Guardian. But yeah, originally the plan was, they just didn't trust the White Doctor, or the White Guardian with it either, essentially.
Yeah, I wish they said something about that because that doesn't convey the best in the episode because it really comes across like, oh, we did all this work for the White Guardian. Oh no, the Black Guardian wants it? Well, it's better to destroy it and scatter it again than give it to him. And
Yeah.
then I assume they then say nothing about, well, what about your mission for the White Guardian? Like,
Yeah. Because Romana and the Doctor were talking to each other a bit about it, and they were like, well, it's kind of gross that, like, we had to kill a human for this. And then
yeah.
the White Guardian would have been willing to destroy it, I guess.
Which I don't think they know that. I don't think they know
Yeah.
enough about the White Guardian to say that.
I know in, like, other media, they've had essentially established that, like, the White Guardian's also not great, because...
Oh, was I right? He is a lesser of two evils.
Well, it's, the Black Guardian is chaos and the White Guardian is order, and if you want to have, like, only order, well, then that's called fascism.
Yeah.
That's a dictator.
Yeah, that's also not good. Yes.
So
that is also not inherently good. Yeah, you need a balance of the two.
I do know that the White Guardian and Black Guardian do come back briefly in the Fifth Doctor era, and they do confront each other, so we will see them again.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see if they do them a bit better during that.
I think there's like a trilogy of stories that are about the Black Guardian, from what I've heard. And then they do actually bring the same actors back for both of them.
Oh, that's fun.
Although they look very different in like the pictures I've seen of them, but apparently the same actors. It's just very different costumes.
I definitely think that it should have just... They should have done a little bit more wrap-up, I think, for the Keys of Time. I'm glad they had something. I'm glad we actually had some sort of confrontation with the Black Guardian. But after all the build-up of the entire season, I think it's a little bit of a letdown what they actually ended up doing.
Yeah. I do think it is very funny to spend a whole season to build it up and then just destroy it immediately. It's very funny, but it's not a compelling story.
I understand why they destroy it immediately, but... And I mean, I loved the idea of using a fake final piece to make a temporary time loop. Like, I actually really liked how they utilized it. And then the idea of, the real thing is way too powerful. But I wish they did a little bit more with it for a finale. Like, I would have liked if the last Key to Time episode was disconnected from, the rest of the Armageddon Factor and its own standalone story of, okay, we have all the pieces, now let's go to the Guardian. And
Yeah.
just an episode about all that. You can just do, it doesn't need to be 4 episodes long, it can just be one.
Yeah.
Just as a proper wrap up for the season. Instead of tacked on to the very end. Because tacking it on to the very end also made the conclusion of Armageddon Factor feel very rushed in terms of the story beats of that specific story.
Yeah.
Drax leaving, what the Marshal did, Shap and Merak and Astra, all of them felt like very quickly dropped and like barely wrapped up.
Yeah, and if I feel like Armageddon Factor would have been better if it hadn't been forced to be 6-parters, and then you could have used like the last 1 or 2 episodes as its own story about the Guardians.
Yeah. I agree. It was still a fun time though, despite that.
Yeah.
I know I'm sounding very down on it. I enjoyed Armageddon Factor. I liked it better than Power or Kroll, but I do think these 2 episodes might have been the low point of the season, unfortunately.
Yeah. There were a lot of good ideas in the Armageddon Factor, but unfortunately they kind of just put a pause on a lot of it. They literally put a pause on it to just say, oh, we're going to go do the shadow stuff now.
Yeah. And that, I think that's a good time for us to look at season 16 as a whole. I mean, we had the Ribos operation, the Pirate Planet, Stones of Blood, Androids of Tara, Power of Kroll, and Armageddon Factor. There were 6 stories here, one for each of the key, each piece of the Key to Time. And I think the first 2 might have been the strongest. Then Stones of Blood and Androids of Tara were good still. Not quite as good, but they were still good. And then it just, I don't know. They fumbled the last 2 bits, I think.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that, the first 2 are the best, and then 3 and 4 are pretty good, and then 5 and 6 are definitely not up to the same standards as the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not up to the same standard, and I think 5 and 6, Power Kroll and Armageddon Factor, are also the most guilty of underutilizing Romana. Like, yeah. I don't know if she already planned to leave by that point of doing both of those, but like
I think it was during the Power of Kroll was when she mostly decided, yeah, okay, I don't want to stay.
Yeah, because I feel like they did not treat her character very well, especially through those last 2 stories.
Yeah. I think Mary Tamm also got pregnant around the same time as well, so that's another reason why she had to leave.
Okay. I guess that's fair.
But yeah, I think it's a pretty good season overall, and I definitely think Romana's an interesting character that I'm curious to see where they'll go with her next season.
Yeah. Yeah, overall, it is still a fun season. The lows of this season are still way better than the lows of some other seasons. So it was still overall a pretty good season.
Yeah.
I really liked Mary Tamm as Romana. I just wish Romana's character was handled a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, outside of, as we loosely talked about before, the regeneration itself being handled pretty poorly, I'm hoping that Romana's character is handled a bit better for the remainder of her time.
Yeah. I know Romana the Second kind of has the... From what I've heard, the actors obviously have a romance, and from what I've heard, Romana the Second, you can very clearly tell when they're in a good spot in their relationship and when they're in a bad spot.
Oh, great.
So,
that's fun.
Sometimes there's definitely, behind the scenes drama going on.
Alright, that sounds a little frustrating. I guess we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and also, some of those stories are some of the most beloved Fourth Doctor stories coming up, so...
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think it is still going to be a good time. Just the idea of, more Time Lord heavy stories, I think, are also good.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to see how it goes. I liked Mary Tamm as Romana, but I am open to seeing how Romana 2 is.
Yeah.
I just wish she got a proper regeneration scene.
Yeah, and I know Mary Tamm did come back for Big Finish for a little
Okay.
while. I think she passed away in like 2012 though, so
Ah,
not
okay.
anymore. But she did a
Yeah.
few Big Finish things. She even meets
Okay.
Romana the Second in some of them. So,
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Yeah, gotta have your multi-time lord stories.
yep.
Well, I think that'll bring us to news. And there finally is something in news.
Yep. Finally, we know where Modern Who is going before we know when the War Between Land and Sea is coming out.
God.
Because Disney Plus did release their June slate, and it's not on there still. But series 1 to 13 are coming to AMC Plus in America.
Yeah. They have not confirmed the future beyond that, but given that that's where the modern era of 2005 to 2022 has gone, pretty much everything that isn't the Disney era, it
Yeah.
does seem pretty likely that AMC Plus is going to be where the future of Doctor Who goes. I mean, they need to tell us sooner than not because they have a Christmas special for this year to make in like 7 months.
Yeah.
People need to know where to watch the hat, and I highly doubt it's at Disney.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is at Disney. I actually don't think we know for certain about that either way. But I feel like the announcement of that Christmas special was also when they said, yeah, they're not moving forward with Disney. So
Yeah.
like,
They announced it together, so the implication is that it's not going to be part of the Disney deal at
yeah,
all.
the implication is that it's not part of Disney. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was part of Disney as like the final thing. But I don't think
Yeah.
it is because I don't even know if they filmed it yet. So like, who knows? Honestly.
Yeah.
Um.
The rumors are saying that they're not going to have time to film it until September, which
Oh my
wouldn't be
god.
very good because they'll have no time to do special effects.
So it's gonna feel more like the early 2000s Christmas specials then, because those
I
were
will say
also
that like
typically filmed in like August.
a couple of the Peter Capaldi ones were filmed in September.
Yeah.
However,
So
it's also worth noting that like those were HD episodes, not 4K episodes, and in a 4K episode you need a
true.
lot more time for special effects.
Yeah, that's true.
So, either it's not going to be a 4K episode, or they're just going to have to like not have any special effects in the story.
Oh
Especially
boy,
'cause
they have their work cut out for them.
Like they don't have a VFX team that they just have permanently hired right now for Doctor Who because they haven't made Doctor Who in 2 years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I have no idea what's going on in their heads for this. I have no idea what they're going to end up doing for this. And they left us on such a huge cliffhanger that, like, expectations are way higher
yeah,
right now. There's a lot of confusion. So, like, I'm glad we know that Modern Who's coming to AMC Plus, but they should probably tell us soon where the future of the series is going to be as well.
yeah. I've heard that before this announcement was made, there were rumors saying that AMC and Sony are going to be helping co-finance it potentially.
That would be
So,
big. That would be big.
Yeah. I think Sony would probably be a good pick just because I think in the current state of the world, you probably don't want to partner with an American company right now.
Probably not, no.
And Sony's, Japanese, so that's probably a better choice than American option.
Yeah.
And then I guess AMC would just be the distribution partner.
Yeah, I think AMC would probably handle international distribution while Sony would help with creation.
Yeah.
Which I feel like Sony has already had some level of involvement in the past, or maybe like tangentially had some level of involvement in the past. Like
Yeah,
they
I'm
owned
not
a
sure.
company that worked with them already or something like that. I'm not sure. Regardless, I'm hoping they make those announcements soon. Although realistically, they're probably gonna wait until San Diego Comic-Con
Yeah.
and be like, "Wow, look, we have a Doctor Who panel. Look, here's Russell T Davies and some of the people that are going to be involved in the Christmas special. And look, guys, we have our big special announcement." And I don't know if it's going to be enough to get people excited, but
Yeah.
here's hoping. Here's hoping.
It is a little weird with this announcement, though, that they only announced it's coming to AMC Plus in America. Like, it could also go there in Canada. I don't know what
Sure.
else other regions it's available in, but yeah. They only said series 1 to 13, so we don't know if the spin-offs are going to show up there either.
That's true.
But we'll
And
see.
of course, who knows what'll happen with the Disney era? How long it'll be locked on just Disney? Because that creates a gap, then, right? That creates like
Yeah.
a pretty harsh gap in viewing. That if AMC eventually gets the entire catalog of Doctor Who except the Disney era, that's gonna be hard to work with.
I do kind of feel like since Disney hasn't posted the Warp Between Land and Sea yet, I do kind of feel like they'll probably be willing to let go of their seasons relatively easily.
Well, sorry, I should say internationally because they're all together for BBC iPlayer, and
Yeah.
in the UK they're all together, so it's not actually that bad. But
Yeah, it definitely feels
um,
to me like Disney doesn't really necessarily care how long they have Doctor Who.
no, and part of me thinks their contract was War Between Land and Sea has to come out by end of 2026, so I genuinely think they're gonna hold it until December at this point.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna sit on it as long as they can to be mean to the BBC, basically, to force their hand a little bit, because they don't care about it, and to let it come out on their schedule. Their schedule read as when it won't interrupt anything else because they don't care about it.
Yeah. But I definitely feel like whenever their contract is over for like when they have to have it on Disney Plus, they will probably just be willing to let somebody else take it all as soon as that happens.
I could see that. Well, in slightly better, maybe, news, Classic Who is suddenly back on Tubi in America, which happened around the same time as this announcement, as far as I know, at least.
I heard about it because everybody was talking, like, after the AMC news, everyone was talking about, like, hey, Classic Who's on Tubi TV, so you can watch it there. And I mean, I had not heard that it came back on there, but I guess it did at some point.
Probably right around the same time.
Yeah. It isn't on there in Canada, though, so it's only on there in America right now. In Canada, they do have... There is, like, a live channel on Tubi of Classic Who, but it's not on demand at all.
Oh, I see, yeah. It does make me wonder if it wasn't supposed to leave when it did. Like, if it was, like, a contract falling through, and because of the state of where things were at, they couldn't renew it right away, so they had to wait a bit.
Yeah, because it left, like, literally a year after it was posted, I think, or 2 years after, whenever it was. But it was, like, the anniversary of when they got it, so it was just their contract ended.
2 years. Because I think they got it on Tubi around the time of the 60th anniversary.
Yeah. So, and then it was, like, November that it disappeared. So that was, like, 2 years after.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was definitely just, like, their contract ended, and then I guess they were probably just trying to get their contract back as quick as they could.
Sounds like, unfortunately, things with Doctor Who, old and new, are rather complicated behind the scenes right now.
Yeah.
Which is very unfortunate.
Yeah, now there's more options on where you can watch Classic Who, although if you're not in America, then your option is just to use a VPN.
Your options are basically the same as
essentially.
before.
Or if you're in Britain, you have BBC iPlayer. But
yes.
everywhere else, you just use a VPN. Or I think BritBox has it in some regions, but not other regions. But yeah. I started buying the Blu-rays. That's how I will be watching it.
Oh, nice. I've been thinking about doing that, but, I need money.
Season 17 to season 22, I now have
nice.
Blu-rays.
So you got quite a bit, then.
Yeah. But, yeah.
All right.
I guess Classic Doctor Who is streaming on more places now, which is nice.
Yeah, so you got more options for Classic Who. Of course, if you wish to join us on this journey through Classic Who, we do have our Patreon. So you can support us on Patreon for just $1 a month to get into our Discord server, where we'll be encouraging discussions between the episodes and, like, news whenever that happens and all that. And at our higher tier, for $5 a month, you can watch live as we record. We've got a little side chat on the side here, and you can tell us that the Power of Kroll was the best episode of the season for some reason.
Yep. Maybe you just really like squids.
Yeah, maybe you really like squids. But Joy, why don't we let everyone know how to prepare for our next episode?
Yep. So for our next episode, we're starting season 17 with Destiny of the Daleks and the City of Death. So Destiny of the Daleks they're both four-parters. Destiny of Daleks is going to be the final story written by Terry Nation, because he will then be moving to America after, and then it's just way too complicated to get scripts from him. And then City of Death is co-written by Douglas Adams and Graham Williams, who's the producer. Because I think there was a different story that was supposed to go in there, and then it fell through, so, Douglas Adams is the script editor as of next season.
Yeah.
So they just work together and write a new one.
Okay.
And then obviously in Destiny of the Daleks, we will be meeting Romana II after there's like I know what the scene is at the beginning, but I won't say too much, but like there's a scene that explains like why she looks different and stuff.
Okay. We'll see how that goes, I guess.
As I mentioned before, K9 will have a different voice next season. In the first story, K9 doesn't really appear much, apparently. So it's technically in the second story that David Brearley will be taking over as K9. I think they just explained that like K9 has laryngitis, is what they say. In the first story, I think he just coughs a few times, and the doctor's like, "Oh, you might have laryngitis," which doesn't make much sense for a robot, but okay.
Very silly.
And then he has a different voice for season 17, but then John Leeson will come back for season 18.
Well, we still get K9 for a while, so that's good.
Yeah.
I like K9. I don't want him to go yet.
Yeah, K9 leaves with Romana at I think halfway through season 18 is when they leave.
Okay. So we still have some time.
Yeah. And this will be Douglas Adams' season that we're going into now.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. It should be pretty good. I'm looking forward to seeing what form this takes.
I know City of Death is generally considered one of the best Fourth Doctor stories, so...
Ooh. And I feel like Destiny of the Daleks is also considered a good one, because I've heard of it before.
Yeah.
Which I feel like is typically a good thing, so...
It's also nice to just have Daleks back. We haven't seen them.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I will also note that...
more Time Lords deal with more Daleks.
Every single Dalek story from here on out is going to have... I'm blanking on what his name is. The creator of Daleks. What's his name?
Not Terry Nation?
No, like the guy in the with the eye on his forehead.
Davros.
Davros. Yeah, I couldn't think of his name.
I don't know why I thought you meant like the person who created the Daleks.
No, I mean in universe.
Not in universe.
But yeah, Davros is in every single classic Who Dalek story from this point forward.
Oh, all right. That's kind of funny. I'm sure they'll find ways of explaining that one.
Because I guess the implication is that in the original timeline before the Doctor interfered, he would have just died in Genesis of the Daleks, and then since the Doctor interfered, I mean, we see him die, but I guess he doesn't actually die.
We hear him die, but it's kind of off screen, so who knows? Yeah. He got better.
I think they do explain how he got better in this one, and then he's just always going to be around.
Yeah, sounds about right. All right. Well, as a reminder, make sure to watch Destiny of the Daleks and City of Death before our next episode. You can find those on the BBC iPlayer or the Doctor Who Classic YouTube channel, or if you're in America, back on Tubi.
Yeah. And
if you support us on Patreon for just $1 a month, you'll gain access to our Discord, as well as early access to these episodes. I have been Tris. You can find me on most socials at ToonTris.
And I've been Joy. You can find me at Joy Content.
And we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.